Hey there, so I'm here with one of our former mentors from the Freedom to Choose project, and I just wanted to ask you about if you could tell us in a few minutes about what your experiences were with Freedom to Choose. What I know you were in our ILTAG program. Did that make a difference?
Yeah, okay. Well, I actually remember I was actually one of the few fortunate guys that was part of the male component when Freedom to Choose went to Valley State Prison. I actually went to Valley State Prison to help open up the prison and establish some programs. And I remember it was Bonnie and David and Howard. They came and they talked to us about the program. It was probably like about a handful of us, 15 of us, that were selected for this discussion. Whether we would want Freedom to Choose at that institution. And so I was like, they made the presentation, and the impression that I got that it was like a program about educating people about concepts of psychology and things of that nature. I said, well, yeah, that sounds interesting. Why not? But when I actually went to the event 6 months later, it was a 2-day event, and we went to the event. Everybody, the whole gym of volunteers it was probably about 80 volunteers. They almost, we call them modern hippies because they were so like full of love, so in tune, so authentic, and just like really embracing, which is something that we're not used to in prison. Prison, you got mostly guards that are always serious and militant, and everything's about sit here, stand over there, tuck in your shirt, and it's just constant stress, being told what to do. So when the volunteers embraced us with that love, it was like, wow, what is this? We're not used to this, right? It was beautiful. And then we did the work, went through the experience. I mean, we talked about emotional regulations. We did writing exercise, freedom writing, where we got to process, cry, and rip all the negative stuff. We talked about some of the beliefs. We were able to make affirmations, intentions before we got to discuss our intimate stories and pain. And we were provided with an avenue to be able to listen to an outside volunteer who came from good economic backing, a good educational background, but yet we're just as humble and as broken as we were, and we're so open and authentic with what they shared to us. And so when I remember the first person who opened up to us, it was me and a good friend of mine, Yayo, and a gal who I can't mention her name, right? Because it stays in her. And she opened up, she broke down, and it was amazing because, like, for a minute you get to see different parts of people. You see, for instance, Yayo could have seen his daughter in her. Like, wow, the impact that I've had on my daughter, by her telling her story. I was able to see my sister through her tears and her pain. And so she spoke her pain, we validated her emotions, we were there to support her, we provided a nurturing environment. Bam! Then it was my turn. I was in the hot seat. They asked me a little question, didn't think much of it, and as I started reflecting on the question, and as I started talking, and these people, and the participants were there to listen with compassion and love, boom! I started crying. I started processing, and I started realizing, wow, I didn't know I felt this emotional. I was this emotional. I was this passionate about this topic. I thought I had dealt with that issue. But no, a lot of times the issues, they hide in the shadow of our subconscious memories, and they stay there silently, sometimes being triggered from time to time, affecting our responses. And that's why it's so crucial to be aware that we have that freedom to choose, from when the event triggers us to when we react, and it was amazing to be able to have that self-care, because a lot of us were facilitators. A lot of us were giving so much of ourselves, and sometimes working ourselves to the dirt, giving, and not receiving. And so the freedom to choose was all for like 50 guys who are actually mentors, facilitators. And so that was our first time to get our cup filled with love, with compassion, with understanding, and for us to be able to talk about our pain and our hurts, and be able to express that in a nurturing, compassionate environment.
Nice. So you found value in it.
A lot of value. We came out of that workshop glowing, like we were on the moon. Like, what was this experience? We've never had experienced anything like that, and you cannot explain it to people. We try to explain it to them, but it's like you just have to experience it, my brother. And they would go and, yeah, you were right. this is because a lot of us, we don't really in the environments that we come from, in gangs and broken homes and dysfunctional families and facilities, right? There's no compassion. There is really not that much love. That's not encouraged. Especially in our gang culture, we have to be tough, we have to be angry, we have to be aggressive, we have to be violent. And so a lot of times to cope with the stress and the hurt, we smoke weed, we use alcohol and drugs to suppress and deal with the chaos and the insanity of living a life like that. And being able to put our guard down and have that compassion was very mind-blowing.
Wow. And so then you participated in our weekly group.
Definitely, yeah. We established the EO tag over there, and that was always beautiful because we with the big workshops we only went like twice a year. So but in between you need self-care, you need maintenance. So the weekly workshops were able to keep us more consistent in it. The more you did do something, the more it becomes a part of you. It becomes hardwired into your brain, and so the culture started changing. We all started developing this whole compassionate dialogue, and the way we communicate, the way we treated each other, kind of transformed, and we kind of all grew together, through having just regular people from the community showing us love, something that we never really get to experience. We only have each other to rely on, but to have actual outside people showing us that love and that compassion, that care, and be able to process their hurt and their pain with us, and being open to our pain, and it was really amazing.
How do you think this supported you in reentry?
Reentry-wise, it really conditioned me. It was a conditioning. Prison for me was a conditioning process to transform my whole way of thinking, my whole lifestyle. And so that conditioned me to become the person I am today, right? A person who's loving, who's caring, who's compassionate, who gives back, who represents his peers, and so yeah, it transformed me over the course of time. Having that nurturing and that love that I didn't have as a kid, and so over time, it just prepared me for becoming the man I am today, which took a lot of phases, from having to deal with old triggers, old traumas, distorted beliefs, lifestyles and habits, and it eventually evolved into the person that I became today. Not a perfect individual, because none of us are perfect, but a compassionate, loving, caring human being who doesn't resort to crime to deal with his issues or problems.
Beautiful. Thank you. I really appreciate you sharing this with me today.
Thank you.
So do I have your permission to share this video with others?
Definitely, yes.
On social media, website, for promotional purposes?
Anything that I can do as an individual to show my appreciation and to educate the community, I am all for it, so yes.
Oh, thank you so much, and thanks for all you are doing in the community.
Thank you, and freedom to choose.
Okay.